And welcome back to the Lawless Brothers Radio podcast. I'm your host, Casey.
And I'm your other host, Ryan.
What's going on?
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Episode
Is that
6.
what I said?
You did not. That's okay. I got
That's
you.
what. All right. Hey, that's why we're here.
A little rusty, you know.
Little tag team. Hey, it's been it's been a little bit.
This is gonna be an intense one. This is gonna be intense.
Yeah, we're starting off pretty lighthearted, but we're about to
Honing into.
We're about to drop some bombs.
We're gonna talk about some dead friends.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Yeah, and that's the only way to put it, man. I mean, you want to talk about how odd it is for us to both have people who are very close to us, unfortunately, like fall into like a very similar fate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's
different
just,
extremities.
Yeah.
But same choices.
Same choices,
basically.
Same concept. One a little bit more devious, I'll say. But we're gonna get into that. But yeah, man, it all starts
Back in the chicken factory.
Yeah, back in the chicken factory, man. I mean, yeah, but before that, we grew up together. My buddy John. We lived in the same area. Funny enough, actually, in that first house that when we were in Ben Salem, he was like where my middle school and high school bus stop and elementary school bus stop was. His house was right there.
That's right. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, across the street from Belmont.
Yeah.
Which is.
And I used to walk to the bus stop every day with Ian.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this, just because it's something that, it definitely shaped both of us, and it sucks, dude. But at least it did for me. It kind of changed the way that I saw people for a while. In the sense of, it can be so unsuspecting.
Yeah, I think I have a great judge of character, a great awareness.
Yeah,
about everyone around me.
100%, and I feel very similar, but again, this was one where it's like one of those stories where it's like it's like when you're watching watching a Netflix doc.
Yep.
And they have that interview with the guy grew up right down the street from it. You never think that those kind of things can happen to you.
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Yeah, it's not funny at all, but you always see stuff on Twitter where someone will say every town has one or something like that. Every high school has that one story where that one kid did that one, and it's just an unfortunate reality where these things are happening a lot more often than we think they are, but it doesn't really hit you close until it actually happens to you.
Yeah, and it probably did happen a lot more, but technology kind of exposes things too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right? It's you can see news instantly on the internet. Any crazy story of this nature you're gonna see. Plus, the crazy stuff sells, right? Well,
yeah.
It's when the news.
100%
is who got shot here doing what, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, dude, yeah, growing up where we did, it was just every morning our mom telling us oh my God, Case, did you hear that in North Philly last night at a bar? Oh my God, 10 people were I'm like, no, Mom. I try to not really,
watching the news.
Yeah, not really. Not only am I not, it's not that I'm unaware to it or you know what I mean, but it's also I know that bad shit's happening every day. Why am I going to if you really think about it, why am I going to force myself to be constantly reminded?
Facts. Yeah. You don't need to see it.
No, you don't.
You don't need to be exposed to the horrors of life.
Yeah, they're there, but there's no reason for you to go out of your way to go find them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I never got. People were well, I watch the news every single day for the last 50 years of my life. It's just what I do. You have free will, right? You have a choice. You have, Yeah, like you have free will. You're a human being. Like you can literally do whatever you want. You actually don't have to be constantly reminded of all the terrible shit that's out there, man.
And free will is a good call because both of these situations involve people making very conscious decisions. And I will elaborate on that when we get to that part about a different element to Ian's story.
Yeah, man.
But that's one of the saddest things is that these are conscious decisions, man. So let's get into it, man.
Dude, yeah, exactly, man. At the end of the day, at this point, he was an adult. Like, dude, you know exactly what you're doing.
Sure.
So, you know what I mean? We're going to get into this a little bit. So, you know, I mentioned previously, like, you know, like we grew up together, but we really became, like, really close friends in high school. And that also had to do with us working at Chick-fil-A together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at the time, like, I was the kitchen leader. He had just, like, got hired. And we kind of all, like, dude, like, me and, like, that, like, he was just so cool, so funny. Like, just, like, you know, there's just some people who you meet where, like, you know, they don't have to try to be funny. They just are.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, he was just that kind of guy. Like, and you knew him as well.
I worked with him.
You knew him very, you knew him
I
very.
was not as close from a friendship level, but from
Right.
I was very close to him from like a mentor level. Like,
Definitely.
he
He
went
looked
out of
up
his
to
way
you
a lot of times to come to me
Yeah.
and like ask me questions about like, hey, Law, what should I do about college? What should I boom.
Yeah.
And so it was that was kind of hard for me for that because, you know, like again, I wasn't hanging out with him and doing these, but it definitely was one of those. I was like, damn, this was everything that was in my. Everything seemed like this was a good kid with good intentions
Right.
who was just trying to figure it out. And then I woke up to a text message from someone else who works there.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, man.
And I was like, damn.
But
how about that?
so yeah, dude, like I was, you know, saying, you know, he kind of became one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Like instantly. And on top of that, he became intertwined with the Chick-fil-A friend
Sure.
group at that. Like everyone, like, you know, like from Amanda to Bill to Emily, Christy, Tink, like all the, like Dan, Nina, like we all became so close so fast. And like, it was just so cool. Like we decided like another like big group of friends, you know what I mean? It was really fun. We were all around the same age and like, yeah, it would legitimately like, it is a time that I look back on in life where I'm like, dude, that fucking sucked. Like working fucking 50 plus hours.
Right.
But the people around you make those kind of experiences like super enjoyable. And yeah, dude, he was just that guy, man. Like it's just so fucking sad, dude. But I remember this is like fall 2018. And I remember I was supposed to work with him on a closing shift. I believe it was a Tuesday. I don't know why something tells me Tuesday. Tuesday also awkwardly is the day that I found out that when Mac Miller died. And not that same day, but I remember like texting you and woke you up out of a nap.
Yeah.
Literally, how many times have you been woken up out of a nap to fucking bad news? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember hearing from you that you said that he had like some kind of like family. He texted you.
Yeah, I mean, So I was manager.
You were so at that time you were the
controlling
manager.
the schedule. And for I want to say maybe 3 days, maybe. He texted me and said, "Hey, Law, I have a family emergency. I'm not gonna be in today." And I'm like, "All right, no, but whatever, no big deal. Boom, is what it is. Cool. So be it." And then let's just say it was a Tuesday. I don't know. Say like that was a Tuesday. And then maybe he was off the next day. And I remember texting him and asking like for like, the weekend or whatever, like, hey, like I just need to know, are you going to be there? Because I wasn't really thinking anything up. Idea.
No one was.
So I'm like, all right, hey bro, I just need to know like if you're going to be there so I can figure it out and have someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember he was very short and just said like, I'll be there Saturday. And I was like, okay. I remember he worked and didn't say a fucking word to anybody. Like, it was weird. It was really weird.
Yeah. And I remember, I guess it would have been the following week then, if he worked that Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I think it was Saturday. And then I really should just pull the text. I still have them. The other context was at one point he said like, "Hey, like thanks for everything," and I was like,
"Oh my god, yeah."
I was like, "What?
So
what is going on?"
If that's the case, then what that means is the following week, beginning of the week, I get a text from like my best friend at the time, Christy, and it's a screenshot of a Bucks County news article.
Right.
And she basically texts me right above the picture. She says, "Case, please tell me this isn't John."
You're right.
Before I even read the article, my heart sank out of my body.
Yeah.
Because the moment she said, "Please tell me it isn't John," I'm like, this has to be bad.
Sure.
Open up the screenshot. I see. It literally fucking opens with John James Weichel, 19 years old, accused of SA, essentially, to a minor. And I was just fucking... I was devastated. I didn't even know... That was like... sometimes when something's so, like, shocking or devastating, like, where you don't even feel, it's just like a blankness. It's like a... It like took over my central nervous system. Like I had I didn't even know what to think, what to say, what to do.
Right.
And this was like,
where were you? Do you remember?
I was at home.
Were you?
Yeah, I want to say that I was at home when I received the text. Something I don't know. I don't think I was at work, but I had work that day, so I received this before work, and I had a closing shift. And I just remember Dan was there. And Dan just, like, looks at me, and he's just like, "Did you hear?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What the fuck are we going to do?"
Right.
And I wasn't talking about work. I meant, like, life. I didn't, like, he was that important to me.
Yeah.
He was that important to Dan. He was that important to me. He was that important to all of our friends. And I literally said, like, "What the fuck are we going to do?" And he said, "I don't know," but our general manager at the time, he was like, told Dan, like, "Don't talk about it."
Yeah.
That kitchen survived off of, like, chaos and, like, fun and, like, trying to forget about, like, what we were actually doing and just, like, more focusing on having fun with each other. We didn't say a word to each other for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it was the most awkward, depressing shift I've ever worked in my entire life. And I remember people were blowing up my phone, calling me, texting me, like so many different people I hadn't heard from in a while, people who I worked with who weren't working that day.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember driving home after close. Brendan calls me, bawling his fucking eyes out. And then I just immediately started crying. And he's just like, "Dude, this can't be real. This can't be true. This cannot have happened. There's no way." And I just remember, like, thinking, and at that time, like, we were all, like, pretty into, like gaming. I mean, like, still are, but we all, like, had, like, a Discord server. And we got home, and we all went on this Discord server, and you had 5 grown men just sobbing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like,
fucking
like, the night that happened, like, we went through the 5 stages of grief in, like, an hour. Like, it was... We were, like, from fucking shock. I mean, if you know what the 5 stages of grief are, I mean, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but, like, basically, we went from, like... Denial, shock, then anger.
Yeah.
We started getting fucking, like, mad.
Yeah.
Like, we were so... we were so angry.
I do remember, like, your whole group at the time kind of, like... For a little bit, actually, like, saying, like, "Oh, it didn't happen." I do remember that, and I was like... We
didn't know what to believe, and we didn't know if there was, like, we didn't know what proof there was. We didn't know what we didn't know, like, but then all 5 of us at the same time. I mean, dude, by the way, Dan is such a man's man. When he started to cry, he muted his mic so we wouldn't hear Dan crying. Like, that's how big of a deal it was.
Right.
And, because God forbid a man cries.
Facts.
Cry if you need to, okay? Especially over something like this. But I remember getting fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're all in the middle of talking. And I just started screaming. Like, how could he do this to us? Like, how could he fucking betray us? How could he betray himself? How could he stoop this low? Like, she was a child.
All right, yeah. Also, it's important to know, like, what is it? So
I'm
okay.
getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. So we found out that he started, like, hanging out with these, like, kids from, like, Northeast Philly. Like, I didn't really know them. No one knew them. He never talked about them. It was, like, a new group of friends. And John, you know, he wasn't the greatest looking guy.
Okay.
Just objectively.
Sure, yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because when we were in high school, I would, like, notice sometimes that, like, if I was, like, walking through the halls, like our senior year, I would notice him with, like, people who were, like, sophomores.
Okay.
Like, sometimes, like, freshmen. Sometimes girls, sometimes not.
Yeah.
And I kind of always, like, I don't know, not, like, shoved it off, but, like, I never really, like, I was like, oh, maybe they're in this class. Maybe they're an elective, like
then
in
hindsight
elective.
hits, and you're like, whoa.
And he wasn't, like, I don't remember him, like, dating anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he couldn't really get with girls, like, our age in our class.
Yeah.
And there was just always, like, there was something there that, like, we didn't really, like, realize. But I think that he had a lot of insecurity. I think that he had a lot of non-belief in himself. I think that he was desperate. And we find out that, also, this is the fucking worst part, too. Where this happened, I sat in the next day. In the passenger seat of his car.
That's
having
true.
No idea.
Yeah.
Basically, long story short, he was with this girl. She was 13, and he was 19. And they had an agreement that he was basically, like, gonna, like, smoke her out, like, weed or whatever, for exchange for sexual favors. And they were in a parking lot. Smoke was in the car. Cop walked over to the car, saw what was going on, and it's fucking all she wrote from there.
Yeah.
And the next day, John, and I didn't know this, of course.
Right.
John and I worked together. Like, that night we closed together, and this is definitely in my era of, like, we were, like, drinking every weekend, not giving a fuck about what we ate, like, just fucking working our fucking tails off, like, whatever. So we would, like, go to, like, Wendy's, like, when the 4 for $4 was goated.
Okay.
And, like, after close. And that night, him and I, we were just hanging out. We were driving. We were listening to music. We were just talking about a lot of stuff. You know what, dude? This is the worst part, too. John's the guy who inspired me to make a sports podcast. And we were talking about doing it together.
Was he in OTN with you?
No.
No, okay.
No, but he fucking knew a shit ton about football and sports, and, like, we talked, you know what I mean? And he was like, dude, like, I really think that, like, we could have one. He said that to me. And I was like, dude, that's a fucking great idea. He inspired the Lawless Sports podcast. Like, and we were supposed to do it together. And I sat in the same seat that she did 24 hours after it happened.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, dude.
And the thing, too, was, this is the weirdest part, and what you were alluding to earlier about us not believing it happened. This all comes out, right? So he gets fired.
Yeah.
Him and Paul have, like, that famous, like, meetup at, like, Wawa. They like had like a conversation on a Wawa parking lot. John like came through the back door of the kitchen to like drop off his uniforms and stuff. Like didn't talk to anybody, didn't see anybody. But even after this article, we all still talk to him.
Right.
And this was like a really weird like limbo, because we didn't know when the court sentencing was supposed to be. It kept getting pushed back. Like Christy was updating me with everything, but like we were still like playing like Fortnite together, because we would like all four of us. It was like me, Bryn, Bill, sometimes Nate Love, sometimes Tank, Dan, John. Like we would all like we would play Fort together still, and he was in our Discord server. He was in the Discord server that we were crying in. That same one, you know what I mean?
Did he say anything about it?
Dude,
like while you guys are gaming?
There was a night where it was just the three of us. It was Dan and I and John. And we were like trying to get some information out of him. We were like, John, point fucking blank, dude, did this happen?
Right.
And the worst fucking thing, dude, was he would just say like, I can't talk about it. And apparently that was, he tried to explain to Dan and I that was like, his lawyers were telling him. But it's so hard to believe in those moments that it's just like, and Dan and I would like fight, not like fight about it, but we would get in like heated like conversations, not heated even, passionate conversations.
Sure.
Because the two of us, you know, we're not against each other. We're for the same cause, which is we need to know.
Right.
And the thing that we would just keep bringing up was like, and you did too, I know John. I know his personality.
Yeah.
I know that. Well, I thought I did, but the personality and the John that I knew.
Well, you still did, by the way. Like that. That's kind of
right.
That the other thing too is like we all have, you know. There's always a darkness. There's a yin and yang for real. There's the dark within the light, and you didn't know him,
right?
But he
but
let stuff overcome.
Absolutely, but what I mean really by that is like. The John I know, if he was accused of this, would be like, "Oh my God, what the?" His voice would have got all high pitched. He would have got all like fucking passionate and loud, because he would get passionate loudly. He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
And the John I know would if he did not do this, would have immediately been like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck? I would never do." Like, I would
that's what I said to you.
I would even trust him being defensive, if that makes sense. Like, I would trust even him just saying no in any tonality, in any verbiage, in any diction, in any possibility of him saying it. And when he would just kind of sound defeated, like over Discord, and just say like, I can't talk about it, and you hear his like tone change,
right?
He like, it sounded like it was like an alter ego almost. Like it sounded like a hidden version of John. And it just, but we would still play together because like he hasn't had a court date. There's nothing official. He hasn't been like like there. You know what I mean? There's nothing like he hasn't been charged. Is what I mean. Like he hasn't been charged with anything. Like. And then I remember Dan was like, "Yeah, I can't play with him anymore." And then I remember I was like, he's like, "Are you still going to play with him?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't even know if I want to talk to him. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know."
Right.
Because this is my best friend. This is a guy who I've known for a long time. And he can't even tell me what's going on when we talk about everything.
Yep.
That to me was very hard to get over. And then I remember talking to probably you and Joel about it. And I remember Joel said, "Case, if I were you, I'd cut this kid off."
Right.
And that to me was like, it's almost like breaking, dude, it's like breaking up. Like, it's like you go from like talking to somebody every single day to just nothing.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing in the world. But the thing too that I at least knew was Billy and Christy were still talking to him. So like if I ever, like she would update me and tell me like his court date is at this time or his court is this or that. And so this is 2019. So he, I believe, got sentenced in January or February. 3 to 10 years with 7 years of mandatory probation after. And I remember, now fast forward 2022. It's been a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
News to me, apparently he got out for good behavior in 3 years and some months.
Okay.
I just met Denise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Denise and I, I think she's a beautiful girl. I want to hang out with her. She works out. I'm like, let's work out. It's either our first or second time ever working out together. I'm on the bench, for bench press. And I just get done my set, and I just sit up. And I look down at my phone. My phone lights up. On Snapchat, if you, text someone, it'll say, typing.
Mm-hmm.
I see John Weichel is typing. And to me, I'm getting a message from a ghost right now.
Right, right.
Like, the dude in my head's dead.
Yeah, also, you're different life. You're, not even in the...
Completely different life.
Yeah.
I'm not at Chick-fil-A anymore. I'm not a kitchen manager. I am living in fucking beautiful California. I'm a personal trainer. I'm working out with a beautiful girl. I'm single. I'm having a good time. My whole life is so much fun. And I look down, and I see John Weichel is typing. And this girl doesn't know me. What a weird fucking thing this is for her.
Right.
Because she's because now I have to make a decision. Do I tell her why I'm acting so weird? I just met her. I'm trying to impress her. Is this going to... I don't know how to put her off or
sure.
You know what I mean? I don't so I kind of give her a very bare bones.
What was the message?
It basically said, "Hey Casey, I just I got out and I have access to my phone. I heard you moved to California. Hope all is good." And dude, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I didn't know, should I just fucking delete this, pretend I never saw it? Should I have a full-on conversation with him? Should I say thanks? And I don't know. And not only that, I'm also flustered again because I'm with Denise.
Right.
I'm at the gym. I'm also probably off of 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Right.
Dude, there's so many factors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I ended up responding back good to hear from you. I did move to California. Hope all is well. And I think that's kind of how I left it. And he might have messaged me again. He might have not. I forget. But that was basically the last time I heard from him. So apparently the story is that he got out in 3 years. He's going to serve the 7 of those 10 years on parole. And then still mandatory probation after that, which technically means that he won't really be a quote-unquote normal civilian until he's 36 years old, which is just
How old are you right now?
26.
So 10 years from now.
Yeah.
You run into him in the supermarket. Do you talk to him?
The thing is, too, I was going to say is, what if I don't recognize him? But he has such a distinct face, and he's, tall.
You would recognize him.
I would know him right away.
You would recognize him, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If, you know what, I'll tell you this. If he spoke to me first, if he just said, hey, oh, my God, it's been so long, I'd say, hey, man, it's good to see you. Hope all is good. And I think that there would be a mutual man-to-man respect of I'm going to walk away now. I'm not going to feel pressured to stay in that moment, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, no, it's weird. I'm thinking about the moment. I'm thinking about
me too.
because what's interesting is someone who goes to that, you and I, and we probably have talked to people, not that we're not friends with them, or no, people that you're not friends with. You've probably talked to people who've had some like fucked up past thing in their life, but you don't know.
That's such a good point.
And so to you, that person is just this person right now.
Right.
And like, unfortunately, you can't change the past though. It is what it is. And that your perception of him is always going to be that, no matter what. Right. And but there probably is people you run into on a daily basis who maybe it's not like that, maybe it's some different crime. Who fuck them? Maybe they killed somebody, whatever that is, to where you wouldn't even know. And it's so that's just a weird dynamic.
No, 1,000%. And I'll kind of take what you just said one step further, right? That's kind of the thing of like information is power. So, and that could be good or bad. So like what I mean by that is like what you just said. Like I've probably met people who maybe have done even worse things than him, or similar, but I have no preconceived notions of them. I have no information on them. I have nothing to go based off of immediately looking at someone on the street and assuming that they did something horrible, right?
Yeah.
Even if they did. But for John, I'm going to know that forever.
Right.
And I know that at the end of the day, and I really need to get this point out in this episode because I've said it probably 100 times. Well, not like 100 times, but I've said this, definitely at least a dozen times to like through the people I've talked about the situation with. But the thing that really bothered me about this, I mean, it's horrendous. What he did is, it's inexcusable. You can't apologize for it. Like, it's fucking god-awful. The first thing that I thought of, and I will feel this way forever, John is a fucking smart guy. And that's what pisses me off so much.
Right.
And what I mean is conversing with someone. There are levels to this shit.
Okay.
What I mean by that is if someone is clearly 13 years old and they look at you and tell you to your face that they're 17 and you can't figure that out communicatively, just by their verbiage, their tonality, the way that they look at the world, dude, like, that's a child.
Yeah.
And 17 is also a child, okay? But the differences of who you were at 13 to 17, there are levels to this shit when it comes to just speaking words, which makes me know that no matter what this girl said to him, he knew the whole time.
Sure.
His defense was allegedly that she told him she was 17. She told him that, she was a lot older. Like, she would drink. Like, she would put on a bunch of makeup. What? I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know who you're talking to. You know who you're talking to. You can tell generally how old they are. He knew what he was doing the whole time. That's what bothers me the most.
Yeah. I mean, also it's like, it's fucked up even if this girl was not 13. Like, just the premise of it itself.
Yeah.
Hey, you wanna smoke some weed? And here, I'll give you weed so you suck me off. Like, that's like that already, like that. And I think that that mentality is already a fucked up thing. Now you throw a teenager into a minor. It's like, dude. And it's weird, I think, and before we get into the next one, like, what do you think could happen to somebody for them to go down that path? Like, this is a good existential question. Like, is that predestined? Like, and I'm not saying this is not to not account for their actions, but is there something in their head to where they're like, they're gonna do something crazily fucked up at some point in their life? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's a spurt of the moment situation, and you just, I killed the person. Why'd you do it? Honestly, I don't even know. And like, maybe that's valid too. I don't know.
This is a great point, and I've probably spent way too much time thinking about this exact thing that you just brought up, this exact scenario. And to me, I think it's a little bit of both. I do believe that it was circumstantial. I also believe that it's kind of like a snowball effect.
Sure.
Snowball effect of getting rejected. The snowball effect of being made fun of for your looks, being just known as the funny guy, being known as just someone who's never going to be taken seriously. And I think when that happens to you for years and years, over and over, of trying to get this girl's number, being laughed at, trying to hook up with this girl at work and being rejected, I think that over time you probably start having thoughts of like, well, maybe if they were just like maybe a little different, maybe it's not even younger, maybe if the girl was just a little different, then maybe I could have more success. And then what if this girl just happened to pop up at like a party at the right place at the right time for John to be able to convince this person to look at him as a suitable partner. Like, I think that there's like circumstances to where, like, for example, like if all this stuff happened to John, getting rejected, not being able to find girls that he wants to be with, but he locked himself in his room forever after work and never came out, yeah, it's probably wouldn't happen. But I think for him to be out, be with the wrong people at the right time,
sure,
I think these things just kind of stacked
I
up
think,
and added into each other.
And that's just how it manifested.
Yeah.
I've told you this, my opinion on like, I mean, this is a hot take and fucked up for sure, but that I think that sometimes when bad things, it's not even a hot take, when bad things happen to kids too, like I think that he made these conscious decisions and all those things, but I think that like it's like the nature versus nurture conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in karma. I believe in what you put out into the world is how you were gonna receive it, whether it's good, bad, ugly.
Absolutely.
And I think parents have a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I think a different situation of something that manifests in this awful nature would be something like school shooters.
Yeah.
Now probably similar path where like bullied, picked on, no friend, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But that also, guess what? Your parents should be involved, right?
Yeah.
If if your kid has guns that he can take to school, how the fuck do you not know that? If your son is like not thriving in like a social thing or something like that, like what did you do for them to be that way?
Right.
I think it matters way more than people think. And that's a crazy thing too, for something like that to happen and something like that to happen to Ian. Like it actually, although, the victim is the worst one, right? Like the 13-year-old, she's going to think about that for her entire life, and who knows. He obviously directly is affecting Joe, but that whole family's fucked. Like they have to move. You have to you have someone that's in your life now that is a registered sex offender, that's going to you can't be in certain places.
Dude, their fucking house was across the street from an elementary school.
And you don't know the humans, like you rightly said, like, bro, get this dude the fuck out of here, right? Like that is what you would think if you were living there. And so you kind of can't blame that like outlook on it either. But I think it's just weird. Like one of my theories is that like I don't fucking know. I don't know his parents at all. I only worked with the kid, but it's crazy. Like I just think that I almost don't believe in bad things happen to good people. I think that bad things happen to bad people, and I think that maybe somewhere down the road, karmically, that his family, his lineage was like owed that. Like it was just a matter of time, and how it came out, who did it, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going with that. I do want to make this quick point though. The thing about him though is he did thrive socially in
my fault.
No, you're good. And what I mean, like making friends, making people laugh. Like he was always like, we were always happy that he showed up because he was so fucking funny and we could riff together and like, you know what I mean? It was just hilarious. It was like that romantic part of his life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where he struggled.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we're actually there's a lot of similarities with that situation. Even the whole like when you said while you were with Denise, very similar weird thing on the other side on this other story.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
I mean, before we hop in, do you tie anything up about that or?
Like the only thing that I can like, I wish that I could have helped. Like I wish that I could have. I know that there's literally like nothing that I could have done, but like I wish that I would have been, like if he just needed someone to be there for him, like, or if he needed someone more to talk to, like talk deeper than what we already talked about, like. I wish that there was like something that like, and I'll always not like feel like a guilt, but I'll always feel like I wish there was something I could have done to help prevent it. Like I wish he, like, dude, I wish he asked me to like help him with girls. Dude, I don't even know. Like I wish that like there was just something that could have happened with him, and I know that actually I don't know this, but I can only hope that he regrets it.
Right.
And I can only hope that he can spend the rest of his life trying to better himself. Maybe even, like, using his scenario and his situation to, like, I mean, this is going to, like sound weird, but, like, maybe, like inspire others to not fall down a similar path. Or, like, maybe, like, if there's something that he knows that he could have done to prevent it from happening to himself, maybe there's other people on this planet who might feel those same things, who I don't really know. I just hope that whatever he gets out of this, I hope it just turns out to be a positive, and I hope that he can spend the rest of his life trying to be a better person. And that's like really all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, guilt's a natural thing, but I think that you said like I wish I could help, and I'm sure your other friends feel the same way. But guess what? Y'all did help by just being his friend. Like there's nothing, there's nothing else you can do to you can't see into the future. You know, you can't pull the crystal ball out and figure this out. Be like, oh shit, he's gonna do this. Let me make sure. It's like, no, dude, you're just, you know, everyone's on their own path, living life, and just being a friend is all you could have done.
That's a good call, man. But I think unfortunately, I'm not the only one to go through something like this.
Yeah, and as you know, tough and depressing and unfortunate of a situation that you dealt with, this one is full-blown Netflix documentary, and really it's going to be one of the, for real, if anyone ever picked up this story and like wanted to make a movie out of it, it's there, and it's fucked up and it's not for good reasons. But yeah, man, let's do it. So
yeah,
we both had these like similar, you know, similar events with friends that this had happened. Now mine, so that was like 2018.
Yep.
Right. So
fast forward
to, you know, I'll start with so I moved out to California in May of 2021. And one of the craziest things is, you know, my mom put together like a party, like, hey, like, you know, Ryan's going away, boom, like get your friends there, cool. And we had taken like a group photo of like me, Casey, and like, you know, just a bunch of my friends. And my one friend Ian, who this is about, he's literally smack dab in the middle of this photo,
front and center, and I have my arm around him and you, right? Or maybe I have my arm around someone else.
Not sure. Honestly, I kind of...
Either way, I was also in the middle of the photo, and my arm is hung around him, and it sucks because that picture is, like, awesome. And now...
But then when you look at it, though, with that lens, it's like, oh, my God, this is the sore thumb sticking out. It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, you don't know until you see it, but it's crazy. So,
yeah.
So this guy... so basically, you know, when we had moved when I was 8... and he lived on our street. He's in my grade, in my age. I was like one of the first people that like I got, like, you know, became friends with as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Acquainted with, yeah. we both played football and baseball our whole lives. So I was in football with him as a young kid, played, with / against in football and baseball, like in-house stuff. This dude was incredibly gifted at football, which is possible influence for this. I don't really know. We'll find out.
We'll get into that.
But anyway, the short of this is that he ends up getting arrested for like legitimately hundreds of counts of something that they didn't even have a law for. They literally had to make a new law for this.
Yeah.
Because we're in this weird age of technology and devices and stuff like that. He basically, hundreds of counts of sexual extortion, like through social media. So this guy, he essentially what he was doing was creating Snapchat burner accounts, like a bunch of them. And when you have just like any social now too, if you make a new social, it's like, oh, these are people you might know. Boom, boom,
that
boom,
did
right?
not exist.
So, well, they don't Snapchat. That's what I'm saying. It was a quick ad. It was a quick ad on Snapchat.
at the top.
Quick ad on Snapchat. So we would basically make these accounts, be able to add girls from our area.
Yes.
A lot of these girls are girls that we hung out with as friends / current girlfriends at that time too.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy shit. But he essentially was sending them messages saying like, hey, I have your nudes. If you don't send me more, I'm going to expose them and ruin your life.
Yeah.
Now,
and he like rinsed, repeated this with like
legitimate hundreds.
Like hundreds of women. Like,
legitimately hundreds.
Of all ages.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, and that's just part of it too. And not only were there girls of age, but it was girls. The one that he got caught for, the reason why he even got caught was from an underage girl. And of course, some, fucking however old, 13, 14-year-old was like one of the only smart ones to like report this shit. Now he, you said like, hey, like funny. He was, the best way to explain him is that he was like basically kind of above average in everything. Really good in sports, even good at video games we played. People liked him, but like he wasn't like the fucking main character or anything like that. But like there was just he was just there. It was good,
negatives.
and there's no negative really. I had been to his house, we talk about like the family stuff. Family dynamic was a little interesting. I was at his house a couple times. Just people are different, but this is kind of crazy because this went on from like we graduated in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
This went on from like 2014 to 2021 basically for like 7 years.
Yeah, like 7-8 years. That's just.
And I think I'm very aware of my surroundings. I think when I talk to people, I have a very good gauge for like who they are very quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of one of the things that fucked me up the most was I was like, how did I not know? Like, how did I not see any signs basically? Now granted, we didn't hang out all the time, by the way. This is another thing too. We did not hang out all the time at all. But he was just, kind of like always in the friend group around.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2014, really, there's a couple crazy things, right? So we graduated in 2014. In 2016, in 2016, he was going to like a state school in Pennsylvania, Kutztown.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friends would go up there all the time to party with him. He was on the football team, so we got to like go to cool parties and shit like that. And it's actually where, I had met one of my future girlfriends at this time was in Kutztown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like February of 2016. I meet this girl, text her for a little bit. I just kind of had the vibe that I was like, you might be in a relationship with somebody. So I was like, look, text me if you're ever free, right? So fast forward to the summer of 2016.
Great year.
What was a great year? Tail end of summer 2016. This girl that went to our high school who truly I did not talk to her at all. I didn't know her. I knew that he was friends with her, but I did not talk to her at all. She's found dead in a park near where we lived. It's like a state park too. It's a pretty big place. Like, you could definitely get lost in it if you wanted to, kind of place. And she's missing and then found dead. Apparently there was a note saying like, hey, like I'm sorry I have to do this, but like someone's going to ruin my life. He basically got this girl we went to high school with so fucked up, so like, whatever happened, he probably maybe he did have some stuff. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter. But it's to a point where she really felt the need that like she couldn't be here anymore and took her life.
Yeah, she genuinely believed that she was better off dead because she was convinced that this guy was going to ruin and expose her life.
Now, the most sadistic part about this is that she didn't know who it was, right? He was also hanging out with these people, right? Like hanging out like this face to face at part doing these things and literally behind the scenes doing this, which really kind of, one of the things that like I said towards the beginning of the story about how he was like kind of above average at things. This is what's really crazy is this is like extremely sadistically smart, and it's so weird. Like I don't know how you could even do that, and like because I would communicate with this guy, and I'm telling you, you would never expect it. Now he was a little weird, but I feel like everyone's got their little weirdnesses to them. Mm-hmm. But you would never expect that there was this like capability to even do this on a grand scale.
Like literally like fucking like movie villain level of schematics of like the interworkings of everything. And also around this time, like I was, like getting older and you and I were becoming closer.
Yeah.
Not to infiltrate here,
You're
but
good.
like I became like a little bit like closer with them. I was on their podcast. You know what I mean? Like they had this leather helmet when it was him and Caleb.
Holy shit.
I was.
Holy
and
shit.
And and there were times like when we would be like out or like if we were over his house or like drinking or like whatever, like never once did I ever suspect, like, yeah, and he always was a little bit, I know what you mean, like a little bit like not like quirky, but like just maybe like slight like social awkwardness, but like I never ever once believed that he was the type of human to be capable of what was going on for 8 years.
Exactly. And the 8 years is kind of the key too. You think about like, hey, whatever happened when, with John and stuff, like, hey, maybe it was a spur of the moment, like, it is what it is. Like this one is crazy because how long it
longevity.
Went. Like that is insane. You think too, like, so here, a couple things. So first off, the way that I found out was I'm in California, and something that I will talk about, like, I've had so many surgeries. I'm over talking to doctors for the rest of forever. But when I moved out to California, it was July of 2021, I want to say. I had gotten this like revision surgery done, and I wake up, so East Coast, 3 hour difference. It's like 7 a.m. West Coast time. My friend calls me, who love this dude, but it's just not one of your friends that you just don't call, right? It's just like, maybe text me, whatever, talk, whatever, boom, boom, boom. I get a call from him. He's like, bro, you need to look at this right now. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was, Ben Salaman arrested on like whatever the number was of accounts of sextortion is what they were calling it. I was like, holy shit, no way.
And dude, the craziest thing about that is the mugshot that came out.
Doesn't even look like the person.
Oh my!
It's like the mask was off.
Dude, no bullshit. Thought they put a picture of the wrong guy.
Yeah, no.
No,
crazy.
like for half, like the first half second of me opening the article, I was like, that's not. And then I immediately I was like, who the fuck? He looked like. I don't even. He looked like he was like a fucking like meth addict. Like, and I
Yeah.
I felt like I just saw this guy, and he legitimately, just like you said, like it looked like he was.
Yeah, like that party was or it was end of April 2021, and
Yes.
this comes out in July. of
Yes,
2021,
like
yeah.
I was like I just saw him.
Yeah.
And it really showed. It almost looked like it was all over his face. Like the 8 years of
Yeah.
turmoil, schematics, like sextortion, like evil
Yeah.
was just plastered for the world to see. And it just it broke my heart. It was like it was the weirdest thing ever, man.
Yeah, dude. So check this. So I just get out of surgery. This is literally like it was like legitimately like the day after.
Yeah.
And now I'm out, I'm not working. I have time off. I'm sitting there just staring at my phone. My friends are across the country. We're thinking about so many things. I'm pissed off for sure. There was not even like dude, there was no for me, and that there was no denial. There was no like I was like, oh, 100,000%. This is what happened. Like this is crazy because all these other dots started to connect too. I had anyway, before I get there. So I really just pissed off. I have nothing but to do but just look at my phone, right?
Which is, yeah.
So now what's crazy is like now I'm looking at like Facebook and I'm looking at like all these motherfuckers like talking shit about like not me directly, but like my friend group basically, like saying like, oh, it's a bunch of weirdos, da 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 da, and I'm like, dude, you know, like when I see red, like I'm fucking like I can't. And it's really crazy to know because like if there was one weird thing that happened was when we were at a party in Kutztown one time, I do remember like he went up to this girl that like was not paying attention and was just like grabbing her and shit. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And we literally said, like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
whoa.
But bro, again, that's still like one, like for this level is crazy. So
no, it's completely different. Like definitely like are you just too drunk or like what?
Yeah.
Or like
red flag, which is I feel like anyone who, and actually that's kind of one thing about John was he was very touchy.
So that's not something that I brought up, but yeah, he was. Like I'm talking like I'd be in the middle of like cooking or like making like sandwiches or something at Chick-fil-A, and he come up and like John would always like give you like massage like shoulder rubs and like so, and he would also do it with the girls too.
Dude, and you know what's crazy?
Oh shit, I didn't even think about
the psychology of that, and I did kind of say it a little bit. Is bro like if someone has this need to like do this right all the time, guess what that probably means, bro? That means he probably was not loved.
That you probably
you know what I mean?
Like,
it's
hugged, like you have a search and a need for affection, like physical
like the
affection.
Fucking the who is it? The Unabomber or something as a baby was like put in like isolation for like months as a like legitimate like out of the womb baby for like some sort of disease or something. Ends up blowing shit up later. So
damn, I did not know that.
I think that's anyway. So that's super important stuff. But back to this. So I get this looking at all this stuff like holy shit, and then like all these things started clicking. Right. I had now we're gonna rewind. So I find this out July of 2021.
Yes.
The summer of 2016. You had mentioned that you didn't realize that like you were in the front seat.
Yeah.
Like a day after this happened or something like that.
Literally, yes.
Dude, so before I move... Wait. Nah, that's dumb as fuck. Why am I saying that? That doesn't... Those years long. Okay, anyway. At some point during summer of 2016, maybe it was before he was going back to school or something like that. I'm trying to think of why, like...
Is this...
Basically...
Real quick, is this before you found out, or everyone found out that this girl was missing?
It's right around... It's like... At the time, like when you rewind and connect the dots, it's like smack dab at the time. If I had to guess, it's probably like August of 2016. She went missing in like September or something like that.
Shit.
So basically,
okay, I just wanted to confirm.
I used to smoke a lot of weed for whatever reason. One day, me and Ian had decided to, and we again too, like we didn't hang out one-on-one really like ever.
Right.
Which didn't think anything of it. We just didn't.
No, but yeah, real quick, when you have like a friend group, you know what I mean, there's some people in the friend group where like, you only hang out with them as a part of the group, but like you would never hang out with just that guy.
Exactly.
And that was kind of like Ian for you, basically.
It wasn't even weird. It's just how it was.
Yeah.
So we had decided one night to like drive to Tyler State Park, just roll up a joint, chill in the darkness, smoke weed, and just talk.
Look at the stars.
Crazy, cool. The craziest thing about this is like, this is like, I don't know the timeline, but if I had to guess, probably like within the week that she maybe was already missing and already dead inside this park, or like right before it. I don't fucking know, but it was crazy because I'm like, dude, we're like, maybe he didn't know where she was or something like that, but you knew what you were doing. And I'm like sitting here like thinking about that. So fast forward 2 weeks after that, right?
Yeah.
I get the first surgery done that starts this whole bullshit ass chain.
Right.
September 8th, 2016. So it had to have been like right before that, or right like end of August, early September.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about like how you got a message while you're with Denise for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with Kirsten for the first time.
Oh, shut up.
The first time, maybe the second time. First or second time, we are literally, and it was like the second week of September because I hung out with her like a couple days after I got out of the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably, say it's the second week of September. We are smoking in her car, like in her like fucking like parking lot of like her housing development or whatever.
Yeah.
Which was really close to Tyler State Park.
Yeah, it was.
And these cops pull up to us while we're in the car. I'm in the driver's seat of her car. She's in the passenger seat. In my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. We have weed. Like, this is not good.
By the way, this is Pennsylvania. This is in California.
Yeah.
Okay? Weed is illegal.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Bucks County, you're going to get fucked. So
Sorry.
I'm like, oh, my God. Everything.
We're cooked.
I'm like, we're cooked right now.
Yeah, we're cooked.
Dude, they pull up. They don't even give a shit about the weed.
Mm.
They didn't say a thing to us. Nothing happened. They're like, hey, what's going on? What are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, just hanging out. Boom. And then he's like, who's this? I was like, oh, that's my girlfriend. Second time we're hanging out.
And at the time, you weren't
Yeah,
dating.
like, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend. You know, we're just this. Boom. We just, we couldn't be in her house or whatever.
Right.
They make her get out of the car and start questioning her because they were like, hey, are you safe? Da da da. And the reason why is because this is exactly when she had been like reported or found or something like that.
Oh my god.
So they were like, I guess, looking for somebody actively that
Yeah.
like may have been doing something. So they were questioning her to see if she was safe because like this is the same time that this girl had like killed herself or went missing in Tyler State. And it was like across the street.
Dude.
And this all happened within like this week. So
Oh my
I mean,
god.
for one, that's my alibi for sure. I was literally with her.
Literally.
But for two, it was just really fucking crazy because I was just there like within the week with him in the same spot. This girl went missing. Now it was just insane.
And like more than likely he like knew.
Yeah.
And if he did know that the whole time that she was like legitimately possibly like lying dead in the same woods that who suggested how to taste All right, yeah, so like we were saying, like I had asked, whose like idea was it to like go to Tyler State Park to just like smoke? Because like you could smoke anywhere.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Great question. I honestly don't know. I think really it was like probably just like a cool spot in nature or some shit. I honestly, great question. I have no idea.
Would you say it was like maybe even like a joint decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. We're just cruising, just driving. That's a time in life where you're just like, oh, I got a car. Let's just go drive around
real rap.
and just
100%.
do whatever. And yeah, I mean, like, so the weird thing with the connection, like obviously, like my soon-to-be girlfriend at the time, it's like I'm in a car with her. Cops pull us over, or not pull us, pull up to the car. So that, like, it's just weird looking back. We had no idea what was happening at that time, but like it's all in the same.
I mean,
like,
dude, yeah.
universe.
Fast forward 5 years later, and then all of this fucking comes out.
Fast forward 5 years later, the other thing too for this was, and I have all the screenshots from her messaging. So I would say we broke up like a year. It was like end of 2017.
Yeah.
And then like I forget exactly when, maybe a year, maybe 2 years later, she messages me and says, "Hey, like, have you look at this? Like, have you been sending my stuff to people?"
What the fuck?
And for one, it's not my character to do that regardless. I'm not like, "Yo, dude, check out this cool picture." It's just
I always thought that shit was weird.
Not who I am anyway. And so she was getting these crazy ass messages. Like the messages that Ian sent her are fucking wild. They're like, it's like, oh, don't you remember like how mad Ryan was when you guys broke up, and how if you know, like, oh, are you single now? Do you like the fall? Like weird shit. And then it was like,
what
hey, if you know, he sent me some of your pictures. Like, you don't think that like while you were sleeping, like he took some for himself? But like weird
some
ass shit.
diabolical ass shit.
Weird ass shit. And I for real, like, I was like, yo, look, like at the time when she said that, I was like, of course I did not send anything to anyone for one.
Yeah.
Who I thought it was, I thought that it was like these guys that she went to school with. The reason why I thought that is because they fucking hated me.
Oh,
they
weird.
did not like me at all. Like when I would go, like I got in like a Twitter fight with one of them talking about like, oh bro, you're mad you didn't get to join the frat and shit like that. There was just like these guys that like, dude, legit, it was funny as fuck.
Yeah, you're mad you didn't get to pay for friends.
Yeah, it was like weird shit, and like she obviously they went to a different school, so like I that's what I assumed. I assumed that it was these weirdos.
Yeah,
and I didn't really think anything of it because again, like yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when this is like 2020, because this is right around COVID time. I got added by a Snapchat account. That was him. Did not know it was him. I get added by some burner Snapchat account saying like, hey, do you know who this girl? Unrelated girl. Different girl. I'm not going to say her name.
No.
And I was like, yeah, who is this? And he's like, oh, well, I have some of her pictures if you want to trade for some of yours. Bro. Well, this is exactly what I did. I screenshotted all the photos that were sent to me with these words on it.
Yeah.
And I sent it to the girl. I was like, hey, just so you know, like, this is what's happening out. Like, this is someone who just asked me for pictures. And she responded and said, like, oh, someone's actually been doing this to me since, like, 2014. And, like, they didn't know who it was. And, like, they didn't know, like, thank you for saying it. But, like, this has been happening to me throughout college.
Oh, my God.
She went to the college that he went to.
Kutztown.
Yes. Now, who knows how many girls he did to there as well? I have no idea. But some of the messages like that were sent to Kirsten were fucking crazy. Like,
dude.
Like, at one point at one point at the end of the message, he literally said like, yo, if you don't send me anything, I'm going to kill you. Like, that is like what was said in the messages. Like, fucking crazy shit. Like, really crazy shit. And this dude was hanging out with us, hanging out with these girls, you know, fucking even, and he gets caught because apparently he like messaged, I don't know, some girl had I don't really know, but it was some underage girl like reported it, and they were able to, apparently they were tracking this case for super long in Kutztown, but they couldn't do anything because when you're on public Wi-Fi, you're just using school Wi-Fi. Like, dude,
right.
There are thousands of devices connected. They knew that they had like an IP. They were IP tracking it. They knew they had an IP address from Kutztown at the time when he was doing it, but they had no idea who it was. And then apparently, like, after like this girl had said it, they were able to like connect those dots.
Did he live in a dorm?
Yeah.
So could they not like link it to?
No, not really, dude.
That's
not really.
Like dorm room? Yeah.
Not really.
Damn.
It doesn't. If it's just like, say there's like a Wi-Fi for a whole building. No.
That okay? Good.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's
there's
a good
no
point.
Way.
Oh, Jesus. That's just so gross. That's so grody.
So gross, so fucking sadistic, so fucked up, so like
manipulative. Like, just so fucking like that type of verbiage is not like something you just throw around, and it shows that the guy was just doing it for fucking years. For years.
And that's like one of the biggest things too. The craziest thing about this is how, you know, obviously this happens, and now I have people from like all walks of life, like someone that I was going to church with.
Yeah.
Won't name them, but this like pissed me off when I got messaged this. You know, literally this is like a different thing, but kind of like when I was asking like, hey, is this predestined? You know, like what do we think this is?
Yeah.
For this one, clearly it's not, bro. We're talking about like 8 years of you doing this, boom, 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 like knowing you're not getting caught. Who knows who else he affected? He literally got some girl to kill herself. He's going after my ex. He messaged Jolie. He messaged our sister. And like, granted, now look, you're gonna most people are gonna not respond or like understand it's a bunch of bullshit, but you never know, man. They're like probably someone who like sent something out there at one point and they think like,
oh my God,
shit, there's a chance. There is a
yeah.
chance that maybe that is right, and like literally just preying on innocent women. And the what was I saying? So I get a message like, "Oh my God, this is your friend," and I was like, "Yeah, like it's fucked up, you know." And they're like, "Oh, like it's, you know, I'm so sorry that like Satan got to him and was able to do blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Dude, I was pissed off, man." I was like, "Listen, like for one, this is not some, you know." You did not get like infected by some spirit and thought that like, oh, guess what? I now decide I want to do all these things. No, it's a bunch of bullshit, bro. I'm like, no, it's calculated, conscious decisions over a long ass period of time, and not only that, but also like you're kind of just disregarding the fact that like all these women got abused. Like you,
yes.
like you can't be making excuses for that, and like it just pissed me off. It really like threw me off too about like. I was like, I just can't believe you can have that outlook that like you're not even thinking about these girls. You're not even thinking about how fucked this person is. Like, oh, I can't believe Satan affected this person this way. It's like, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude. So
disconnected.
Kind of unrelated, but not really. Like I saw this like thing like trend on TikTok. It was like some fucking dumbass girl. She like posted this picture of herself and she said like the caption was like in the picture was like the devil couldn't reach me so he made me cheat on my boyfriend or something like that. It's like no you just fucking you're a bad person and you cheated on your boyfriend. But like I mean you gotta we're not gonna say who it is, but like they're a sweet person and they were maybe just trying to, I don't know, say something to like cheer you up or like say something to like make you. I don't know, but
fair,
but I know what you mean. I can see where
just a random off tangent on that, like
I could see where the frustration with a comment like that could come from.
Because it's just it's fucked, man.
Yeah,
like going after innocent people, like it really is on like some Netflix documentary stuff. I'm sure I'm not even thinking about all the details. But I mean like the kids, how like. He was around like some of my friends who have children, like around.
Disgusting.
And like I don't think anything ever happened, but like just knowing that person's there, it's like, dude, they are dead. Like they literally died. They are not a part of any life, and
the audacity to reach out to our fucking sister. It's just like a fucking level. It's just a different level of just like I want to fucking.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is fucking insane. It is and I don't know, just I thought I had a great judge of character. I mean I still do, but it's just weird that someone could like be lying or not even like just being able to
it's like an alter ego.
Able to do it
it's
with
like
a straight face.
Yeah, it's like two lives.
Live life.
Like you're like a double life.
Yeah.
Like literally, like it's just like you're leading a double life. It's like when people find out like when people tell you like people who grew up like in the 70s or whatever, like my dad had like a whole family in another state. You know what I mean? Like it's so crazy how people can live this like exactly like this double existence, this fucking yin yang, this alter ego. Like it's just fucking. Like you were correcting me on earlier, but for real, dude, sometimes you just think you know people.
Yeah.
And you just don't.
Yeah,
but
you don't.
You tackled this earlier, no pun intended, but about how like he was like an above average like at like sports.
Yeah.
And he was a running back. And he also played defense. He was linebacker.
Probably, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but he was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And the way that he ran was very contact first.
Yeah.
Contact heavy.
Sure.
Running back, I mean, that's like the one position on the field where if you get the ball, you're basically guaranteed to get smacked.
Yeah.
Unless you unless you score.
Yeah.
And
now we're talking like some, Saquon squatting 600 pounds in high school type human
being,
by
like
the way.
You guys, like, again, this, and we are not speaking positively on this person right now. We are just stating facts. Like this dude.
Yeah, facts. He stopped playing college football because he got concussed too many times.
Yeah, and then didn't he also get hit by a...
He got hit by a car,
like
bro.
a car.
I don't even know, and I've talked about that. I was telling you, like, offline, like, a couple weeks ago when we were planning on talking about this. I was like, I don't know what he was doing, but he was, like, walking down, like a highway, like, or some shit. I don't really fucking know, to be honest.
What the
and that's why he, like, got, like, if you look in the mugshot, like, you can see his eyebrows, like, kind of gone.
Yeah.
And it was from that hit.
And it was like that way forever after.
Yeah, and clearly, This has been going on for a long ass time, but it is just curious to think, like, dude, to like, we see, I mean, like Aaron Hernandez, right? I mean, it's like not even a question that he clearly was affected by CTE and like killed people, right? Killed himself. Didn't he kill himself?
Yeah, he killed himself in prison.
In prison.
I thought he murdered. I think he murdered 2 people or just one person. But like, and then they find out, they do the the dissection or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like on his brain, and they find out he had CTE. I'm also a massive pro wrestling fan. One of the biggest known famous tragedies is Chris Benoit. In the early to mid 2000s, it was 2004. Yeah, well, he was a unbelievable professional wrestler.
Yeah,
like one of the best performers. Like he was world champion multiple times. And he murdered his entire family and himself.
Did not know that.
The next night, he was supposed to face like one of my favorite wrestlers, CM Punk, in ECW for like the ECW World Title.
Yeah. And
they found out like the day before, like, oh my god, like he's dead. And this is before they knew anything. They had to like redo the match with a different person. It was like a whole thing. But once they dissected his brain, they found out that he had CTE.
Yeah.
And this is something to where I think ultimately when Ian passes, I mean, I'm not going to speak for his family or anything, but I think you ultimately have to like donate his body to science to try to figure out like if that's what really was the root cause of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was the root cause because I think...
Well, but...
Like I said, it was going on for so long, but I would assume that it allowed, like, you know how we have inhibitions? Like, it would allow, like, you to just not even give a fuck and just think you can get away with everything or whatever and just open that door.
It would validate your decision-making. Like, validate your terrible choices.
You just, like, don't have that filter, you know?
Yeah, like, I'm saying maybe there was a point to where in the beginning... he knew it was fucked, but he still wanted to do it. But then maybe as like CTE was like developing, like it removed that like frontal cortex, like that like that first line of thinking, like that morality basically is what I'm saying. Like it removed that from the equation,
right?
And he just continued to do it.
Yeah. You talk about contact heavy. He was the guy, like he would count out people in football practice, like count out in the line so that he could line up with me on purpose so he could fuck me up. that is what was happening. Just bashing his head in the wall for years on years on years. And it's weird, man. It's just like weird to just to not know somebody. I think you did, Yeah. And that humans have the potential to do that, bro. How many people are affected by those choices for that long? To where like someone took your
forever.
Yeah.
And also, we do want to emphasize that, like, we wouldn't, the fact that we both have these experiences, like we wouldn't wish these experiences on anybody. You know what I mean? Like, you grow up with someone, like, even like when you're really close, right? Like, you love someone, even, you know what I mean? Like you're so close and you feel like you know everything about them. And, like, dude, I get, like, emotional right now talking about this, dude, but it's just, like, I wouldn't wish this on my like worst enemy, to have someone that close to me watch me grow up, like watch me. It's just fucking. It's mind blowing, man. And I just wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think I knew. I said I didn't really know him too well, but he was just always around, right? At parties and shit. And that's really that really kind of is the story of Dead Friends.
Different vibe to this episode for sure, but all right, that was Lawless Brothers Radio. I'm Casey
and I'm Ryan.
Peace.